say my internet connection was unstable, so I'm not sure if that had any effect.
Shouldn't be, in theory. There we go, we're live now.
Okay, and we're back. I think we had a temporary interruption there.
Glitchy! The Red Scar Goblin, Tech Goblin.
Yeah, well, they're definitely not what they used to be.
Twitchy's now house trained.
Almost. So yeah, perhaps it was the dirge that Dradoki leaped into that brought an end to our internet connection. Good job you didn't hear me singing while we were off air. No. So the drinking crew go from singing, dwarven ditties to dwarven dirges, and there's lots of tears, talk of friends lost, and battles won, and companions who've come and gone over the years, and lots of wet beards on the dwarven side of things, definitely. As the drinking progresses, and you talk about people that they've lost, they definitely become more emotional.
I don't know how to deal with emotional people well. Like it goes from like harm, no, sitting there quietly, trying not to upset anybody, fade into background.
Oh, no. As I see you doing that, I say, Biff, you can't do this to me. I came down here to have a drink with you and have fun with you so you and I could sing a song. We must sing a song now.
Okay.
So I will lead, and then you kind of repeat after me.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yes,
Okay.
I can do this, like a marching tune.
Okay.
May I interject at this point? Because I'm persona non grata with the dwarves and obviously wouldn't be invited to their drinking party, from upstairs you can hear the medieval version of the first strains of the Black Parade come wafting down the stairs. They're getting to the part, we'll carry on.
Well,
on a lute.
Up on deck, the captain approaches Dovith. He's like, look, I don't think there's any sleep to be had for a few hours yet, so why don't we just crack open a few bottles of wine from my personal store here anyway. Maybe have our own small drinking session up here.
There is a man with a plan, and I appreciate a man with a plan. Yeah, that is a very good plan.
Some of the crew would definitely appreciate me giving them the night off.
And then maybe we can have a sing-song of our own. A couple of sea shanties and a bit of wine and cheese. What do you say?
Well, river shanties. I know about sea shanties. We don't go to sea.
Well, all rivers lead to the sea, don't they?
Yeah, not this boat.
Isn't it? Think big. Think big.
You're
only defined by your own parameters.
Yeah, I'm happy with what we have running here. This is my own, she's my own, and we have an understanding.
I think we need to show how these dwarves how they party on the riverboat. Let's do this. And I'll strum up, and they say, pick a tune, and I'll play, and you guys sing.
Well, one of the crewmen appears with a dulcimer as well, who seems he's practiced with it, not necessarily a dab hand at the dulcimer, but yeah, he's practiced with it. So you definitely strike up some more upbeat tunes to the dirges that are kind of wafting through the cracks in the decking from below.
Just get some pirate songs going, proper.
So you're now strolling the deck in between two competing sets of songs.
The Hollow Knights lied to me. I didn't come back to Premature Roleplay. I'm in hell. I am in the deepest of the 9 circles of damnation.
I think in Star-Lord's side, as a kind of someone should kind of request Nevin to a dance-off. Start throwing shapes in front of him. Okay.
Stony silence. Yeah, kind of. I don't know.
An eyebrow gets cocked. Is it sarcastic? Probably not, because it's Nevin, but who knows?
So the upper deck kind of merriment tapers out in the early hours just after midnight. The Bausamas moon is in the sky again, nice and full. The below decks really is the dwarves will go till 3 or 4 in the morning, so it's really down to Picandra and Vivian when you'd like to push on with that, or bow out a bit earlier.
Oh no! We haven't sung a song yet, and I want to dedicate a song to Nevin.
Okay.
I go toward Nevin, with a bottle in my hand, and I just put my hand over his considerably higher, taller shoulder. And I say, "I'm sorry I call you Nev. You are not half a Nevin. You are a whole Nevin. And I will always call you Nevin, but to make you even fuller and more wholesome, I may call you Nevanly, because the Lee is like the leaves of the trees that fall every year and then come back because they're eternal, like you, my not undead but undead looking dead person friend."
I understand.
So I want to sing you a song, but you must appreciate it, because I have never sung a song for anybody ever before. And
I'm
just
sure
wrote,
I won't be able to find the words.
and I just kind of like heard it once, so I don't entirely know how it goes, but anyway, this is for you, because you're my friend, kind of thing. So I just but Biff, come, you have to come too and give me your hand, because otherwise I won't have the strength to do this.
Okay, I am your rock.
Oh, yes. As I said,
Oh no! I just as she puts it up, as they put it up to their lips, I kind of try to bat it away, but then completely miss.
I don't notice anything. I'm really pissed out of my brains at the moment. So I just sing me a song of a boar that is gone. Say that boar was mine. Marry a boar, he died on the day over the shore of the river. Below one breeze, boats. I can't keep going. Sorry, Nevin, I failed you.
It's okay. It's okay. He's used to failure. He's with me all the time. I start crying on your shoulder, Picandra.
I'm sorry, audience.
And how does Nevin respond?
I mean, I'm perfectly convinced now that Viv and Pagandra are just down there crying until they pass out.
Yeah, I
So,
think there's not
like,
much compassion
I
or
think Nevin's learned enough that if he engages with them, it will only prolong his suffering.
there's not much compassion or empathy flowing from Nevin towards the two of you.
Hey, I've allowed one of them to put their arm around me. That's progress.
So
At which point, sorry, Mark, on the other side of the boat while this is going on, I do understand the pathos, and I think that the extreme emotional scene we've got here, which is this is fantastic to see. But I've got my hair in braids, I've got like a white stripe across my nose, and I'm singing something about a dandy highwayman. Whilst hopping on one foot and playing a lute.
Oh man, like, this has really turned into an epic river cruise, isn't it?
I mean,
As the merriment kind of winds down, like I said, the humans and yourself, the crew and yourself, Dovith, kind of wind down. Not long after midnight, they've had a hard day of rowing and taking care of the ship, so they wind down quite early and crash out. But the dwarves, Dradoki and the can't remember the name. Axam and Erax, the two from Buruk Torn, eventually pass out kind of 3 or 4 in the morning. They're barely comprehensible. So
Viv and Bacandra happen to pass out either below decks or undercover and happen to have blankets on them when they wake up.
okay. So regardless of where they pass out, you do wake
No,
up.
they happen to pass out. They totally haven't been moved.
Okay.
Hey, I need my auxiliaries at full fighting force in the morning. I can't have them.
You can tell yourself that, Nevin. You can tell yourself that.
That's it.
We know the
You
truth.
love us. You care for us. You want us to have a good well-being.
And I will let you all die before you figure that out.
So about 4 or 5 in the morning, Nevin, yourself and 2 of the crew kind of keep the watch going through the night.
Mm-hmm.
And an early mist starts to rise. It's the kind of fog storm, starting to get light. With a little cloud cover and the heat, there's a mist starting to rise from the river this early in the morning. Kind of blankets both banks up into the Ganges on either side, and completely hides the river. Basically, it's as if you're sailing or you're floating on a cloud bank.
I will inquire to one of the more sober members of the crew of, is this normal? Is there a procedure that they require help with whilst navigating the riverbed under such conditions?
It's quite normal. It will be around for a few hours. We just well, I mean, I don't think by last night's entertainment we'll be sailing too early, but yeah, we just need to wait for it to burn off, basically.
Oh, so we're anchored, aren't we? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I will continue my perimeter around the camp / the boat because mist is a unknown threat or a portent of doom. It's only paranoia if I'm wrong. It's good operational procedure if I'm right.
You continue doing your rounds around the ship. It's the forest is eerily subdued as the as dawn arrives and the light grows. You have that really suffused light through the fog. because although you can see it kind of rolling along the river, it's risen slightly above the boat in a different layer. It's kind of really thick near the water, and quite misty as it heads up into the atmosphere. Just give me a perception check.
Okay. Disadvantage because of the fog, or straight?
Yeah. No, we'll just make a straight roll.
Just straight roll, okay. $17.
Yeah. So you've come round the aft of the ship. You're heading back towards the fore, and you can see a ghostly figure sat kind of cross-legged on the prow. It has it's kind of a steeper silvery sheen amongst the mist that you've spotted really quite easily. Although you get the feeling from that quick spot that if this, whatever it is, wanted to hide itself in amongst the mist, you would have found it very hard to spot it. But it's facing away up in the direction of travel, and it just seems to be a deeper silvery outline in amongst the mist and fog that's kind of surrounding the ship.
Okay, I will wave down one of the crew and point it out.
Their face instantly pales. Like, ghost? There are.
Do I wake up the crew, or do we go around it?
Well, it's on the ship. I mean, I guess we need to do something. I'll go and wake the captain.
Excellent.
So
it's on the ship. It's on the prow.
Yeah, if I flip
Okay.
to the that's on that.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go. So up at the front, the anchor at the front here.
Mm-hmm.
Just basically sat cross-legged on the prow, as if it's either balancing or floating. However, it's kind of sat there.
Okay. I'll park myself kind of near it where the boat narrows and wait for the captain because he knows what's in these waters and I don't.
As you, is that where you're kind of parking yourself there?
Yeah, right about there. If it's right on the front.
Yeah.
So kind of not right behind it, but basically trying to be within arm's reach if it tries to go past me.
Okay, let me get the name's gonna. I don't know. There you go. Can you see her?
Got you.
Yep. As you approach to where you position yourself there, this figure turns around. She's definitely female.
Mm-hmm.
Her kind of ghostly features have an elven structure to them.
Mm-hmm.
Her hair kind of waves and drifts with the mist, so it you can definitely see the definition of her hair, but it kind of tapers into the mist as if it's drawing from it or formed from it.
Mm-hmm.
She has dark tracks under her eyes, so where the rest of it is quite silvery and grey, she has big black kind of almost like tear tracks leading away from her eyes, and she scowls as she turns.
Who goes there?
It seems you are here to perhaps stay with me, keep me company.
I doubt that.
Oh, but it's such a lovely part of the river. We can stay here forever.
Perhaps, but we shan't.
Why are you here?
We simply seek passage up the river. We are travelling through, we have no quarrel with you.
Then you're not here to steal my treasures.
No. We have no interest in such things.
Well, as you're not here to do ill or steal my treasures, perhaps there is a favour you could do for me.
Perhaps, speakers, and I will see.
I wasn't once, as you see me now. I've been cursed to this existence, murdered, betrayed, and thrown into the river to live in its watery depths. But you could free me.
Perhaps.
If you can recover my body, or what remains of it, and lay me to rest, then I can pass on into the afterlife.
Where is your body?
She points off into the fog, towards the middle of the river. Although, obviously to you, it's just a big roaring bank of fog at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Over there, and below.
And our passage through this river?
Well, I mean, you're not here to, as you've said, steal my treasure. As soon as the fog lifts, you're free to continue. I won't stand in your way or harm any of you. But I do beg of you this favour. Too many who see me assume the worst, or are perhaps in search of my treasure. Certainly, those of my own kind believe me to be some sort of evil spirit or banshee. And unfortunately, that's the role I've grown into playing. I can still play that role if you wish.
I have no quarrel with you. I would hate for you to give me a reason.
She's, well, I'd say she stands up. Her legs disappear into the boat as she appears to stand up.
It's at the bank underneath, somewhere. Correct?
She's drifting towards you slowly, but yeah, she's pointing back behind her.
To which gods do you commend your soul?
Well, any of the good gods that will have me. Perhaps, hopefully, Madriel will take me into her wings.
Madriel. I will see what I can do.
She is the great redeemer, is she not? The healer of all.
Indeed she is.
The crewman has kind of crept back up with a very bleary-eyed captain in tow.
Mm-hmm.
But they've just seemed quite content to leave you to speak to this spirit at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything you'd like to do?
No, I've said that I'll attempt to do it. I've inquired whether our passage is. Nevin is fairly sure the kind of, oh yeah, when the mist fades, hang on, you formed out of the mist is you, isn't it? Or some hocus pocus elf stuff. So he'll bite back, wanting to say, but to be forgiven, you have to ask, and just say, I will endeavour to see if I can fulfill your favour.
Yeah.
Where he's kind of standing, because he's always got his shield with him, where he's kind of parked it in front of him, which expertly conceals the fact that his hand isn't resting on his belt, it is definitely resting on the sword.
Yeah, okay.
Like, that reflex, that muscle memory, that can never die.
So, Macandra and Vivian, give me a perception check at the DC 10 perception check at disadvantage. We can actually see the dice roller now as well, so that's good.
Seven.
7, okay. You are feeling restless, although you're not quite awake, and you feel like you're afraid to open your eyes at the moment because of the dull ache that you can already feel there. Macandra?
I roll a 12.
So you've opened your eyes a crack, mainly because you're so cold down below decks. And you can there's a blanket over you. And obviously you're very part feline, so you assume you should be quite warm. But yeah, you can definitely feel there's a chill that's seeped into your bones, and there's a kind of thin mist down here which seems to be hazed throughout the compartment you're in.
I shake Viv.
I roll deeper into like my blanket burrito that I've made for myself. Kind of pull it down like, what?
You hear Sakura, Vivian, wake up.
Oh, and what? Huh? Yes, ghost friend and corporeal friend.
There is mist inside here, and there shouldn't be any. I'm quite sure.
I crawl out of my burrito. What? I turn to Sakura. I'm like, are you misting the place?
Not me.
Who are you talking to?
My ghost friend.
Oh, of course.
Not me, but
Okay.
but I definitely feel another presence around. I'm surprised you haven't felt it, but then that might be last night's spirits.
I can't feel anything but my headache. Okay. Let's go try to find the other. Let's try to find the other presents. Pekandra, come on. Let's go.
Okay, but don't shout.
I'm not shouting. Am I shouting?
Dove, if you wake up on deck as well with a crewman crouched over you who's looking extremely pale, and all he's doing is holding a finger to his lips.
Right, and I'm really trying to focus because I've like my head is like a kind of a rock bard who's been on a 3-day bender and passed out after the indoor privy's gone out the window. My shirt's all undone and I've got half bottle of wine in my hand. I'm like, I'm just trying to make sense on whether I'm kind of hallucinating or not at this point.
Morning breath, kind of like.
Oh, no, not even that. We're talking gates of hell. It's like 50 years of the Rolling Stones all condensed into one.
he's. I'm glad you're awake. We were wondering if you might know what that is. And he points over towards the front of the ship.
What is that? Is that one of Nevin's friends? Or am I just seeing double?
Thing is Nevin's girlfriend.
Oh no, Nevin doesn't have a girlfriend.
Doesn't he?
No.
But
I'm-
she...
He's so uptight.
My theory is that there's some sort of tragic love story there, but like let's not go there right now.
No,
Does everyone see the ghost?
Oh,
ghost.
if that's a ghost.
Oh, cool. Maybe I got so
must-
powerful last night I spread my power to everybody. What?
You said goat. I said the goat wasn't anything to do with us. I thought that was you guys. that brought the goat.
No, not a goat, a ghost. Like ooh.
So you can clearly overhear the team trying to whisper as quietly as they can behind you and failing miserably. Nevin.
Right. And will you stay here whilst we attempt to retrieve your body, or?
I walk up like, hello.
I do the same. I was, how?
She's
I-
just kind of drifted to here. I can come with you.
I'm suddenly wide awake now. That's a ghost.
Yeah, a ghost. Hi, friend.
I'm frozen.
Nevin just kind of like turns on his heels and like his body turns back, and there is just the look of like, I swear by whoever is listening, you will not jump on this landmine. And then just a slow turn back.
The jaws don't.
Wait, but did we hear him say so your body's in the river?
Yes, young one.
Okay, we can go get it for you. Will that help you pass on? I'm an excellent swimmer. Ow!
And very astute.
Yeah.
If you help me gain some peace and rest, then yes, I am hoping to be able to pass on.
Oh, that's easy peasy. Just swim down to the bottom and pick it up and come back. Right, team?
Cover my
I turn
remains.
around like, this should be no problem. Viv's actually a very good swimmer.
Might be a problem.
Why?
I'm still drunk.
Oh.
Might not be a good idea for me getting out in the water, but I'll hold any rope that you have.
How far away is the how far away is like the reef or the landmark in the mist, or can we not see the landmark in the mist that she was pointing
Yeah,
to?
no, you can't see in amongst the roiling fog. But I guess from the angle of her finger, probably 50 or 60 feet.
Okay.
The captain's kind of like, yeah, go, take my skiff, take her with you. Just like, go.
I turn to Nevin and I'm very serious. And I'm like, hold on, I have to get serious again. I'm like, Nevin, we have to do this.
Fantastic idea, Auxiliary. I was already agreeing to it.
Well, then why are you just standing here? Let's get on the skiff.
Auxiliary, where is your pack?
I don't need a pack to go swimming. That'd be really stupid.
That's a long way of saying you don't know, isn't it?
No.
So you should be able to find it.
It's on.
No, I don't need a pack for swimming. That would be really stupid.
I don't recall there being a question of if you needed one.
You know what? I'm too hungover for this. Actually, Viv is pretty sober at this point, but she's just using it as an excuse, and she just like walks to the skiff. And I say, Dovis, bring the rope.
Oh,
Please.
me!
Please,
Rope,
please.
yes.
Sorry, please. I didn't mean to. That was very rude. I just like the rope because then
The
you can attach it to me while I'm swimming.
The captain's already
No,
placed the coil over your shoulder and
I'll
he's pushing you towards the skiff.
go and get the rope.
The captain's already placed it over your shoulder, Dovith, and he's already pushing you towards the skiff, not ungently.
I'll go and get the. I've got the rope. Here.
Right, I'll tie my 15-foot rope onto that cord of rope, and then instruct David, don't let go. And then I step off the side of the boat, holding the other end.
I will tie the rope too. I can't let go if it's tied too.
I think that is a good point for us as you hit the water and disappear into the strangely icy depths to take a break, temporary break from the stream.
The icy silent depths.
Icy silent depths. You just know it's not going to be long before Vivian.
I'm hoping by the time she gets there and swims down, I'll already be out.
Have you forgotten that my swim speed isn't limited and I have monk speed as well?
Yeah.
Yes, but my counterpoint to that is, have you met Viv?
But
Well, see, I have to touch on the fact I've tied the rope to me, but maybe I've forgotten to hold on to it.
Where's David? Well, he drowned, Nevin. Why? Well,
Or the better case scenario is that the rope actually dragged Dovith with it.
you don't need to actually work the skiff. I can just tow it.
Because the captain tied it to you. No. But we're going to take a short break here. Just for our own sanity, I guess. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. So look forward to seeing you all then.
So anyway, that is when I get dragged back out of the lake with the tail of the dragon, and the plug comes out of the sea, and everything is fine. Oh, hello.
Hello, we are back.
Where's the rub?
That was Nevin fighting off Belsmith. No, I jest. So we left shortly before a break with Nevin having stepped off of the boat into the water, heading towards the area that the spirit was indicating where her remains were lying. Is anybody on the boat doing anything? You just kind of see Nevin literally step off and disappear into the depths. Well, the kind of the fog and mist swallow him, and you hear a splash.
There is 1 second where my mind flashes back to the tome of rules that I have, which says that like you have to go in squadrons and like you shouldn't just run off on missions by yourself. And like there's part of me that wants to teach Nevin that maybe he should learn the rules of the Legion a little better, but then I decide not to be a bad team member and I jump in after him. And I want to make sure that I'm swimming like just slightly faster than him.
Yeah.
So it looks like he's trying to keep up with me. That's very important to me.
Oh, I'm not swimming.
Well, him walking is trying to keep up with me.
Yeah, Nevin has sunk like a stone to the riverbed, which at this point is a good between 10 and 15 feet, and extremely dark down here with the
Luckily, I have the light cantrip.
The mist above, yep.
As a member of the Golden Spire, so I'm able to light my way. Hopefully, he says.
The spirit-like figure has also sunk down through the boat. Although she seems to be struggling to keep up with Vivian. But yeah, she just flows through the water as effortlessly, almost effortlessly as you do. But you just kind of hold your breath. She drifts ahead of you, holds out her hand to your clawed hand.
Okay. As I take her hand, I look back and make eye contact with Nevin.
Well, she holds out her other hand to yourself, Nevin. You can, as she takes your hand, you feel the cold of the grave seep into your scaled grip. Sinks numbingly into your hand. Nevin, do you accept the offered hand?
So Vivian's gone off ahead.
They're kind of treading water ahead of you at the moment, but the spirit has offered a hand to kind of form a triangle, I guess, of yourselves to take you to.
Well, Vivian's already taken it, so we're already. Yeah, I'll take the hand.
Yeah. Okay, and again, you feel. You don't have any flesh, but your form, the essence of your hand seems to take on a deep blue tinge, almost merge with the spirit's hand slightly, but it definitely is numbingly cold.
Cool. Whilst this is happening, I'm looking at my arm of like where the easiest points to cut would be when this goes south.
She drifts backwards, and she's just looking at the both of you. And she takes you a good 50 feet, you'd imagine, along the riverbed. It's a little bit bewildering down here with the rocks and the weeds that you travel through. Is anybody on deck doing anything?
No, I'm just trying to hold onto the rope.
Okay.
I'm just looking at the water and thinking, I don't think I'm that compatible with that. I'm just still thinking about whether I should jump or not, but I should jump, but not. So can I actually once Nevin cast light, can I actually see it from the surface?
Give me a perception check. I'm not going to make it a disadvantage, but there's quite a thick bank of fog. So there's a slim chance that you can see a silvery glow from below, but
21 perception.
yes, you can see a silver, very faint, almost pinprick silvery glow that's moving.
That's fine. That should be enough for me to jump into the skip and start, rowing toward that, so I can actually be on top of them without needing to wet my little paws.
Sorry, paws. Yeah, that's definitely doable. Are you stepping into the skiff as well, Dovith, or are you staying firmly on?
I thought I was already on it with the rope.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so the rope you
This is
basically
well, I made
you basically start to reel in some slack as you kind of follow the light from below. It doesn't take long, but she takes you to a pair of quite worn stones at the base of the river, and you can see there's a spar or a large stake or something that's got wedged between the two. Against the flow of the river, and her remains, her kind of skeletal remains, are trapped in. Well, she's almost as if she's been staked by this beam of wood, and she drifts, looking rather a mixture of sad and angry as she approaches what appears to be her remains.
Okay. Would it have been sensible, Nevin being the practical mind that he is, for him to have some kind of bag with him, given that we're going on a recovery?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, I will.
Especially as you've already been talking to your novitiate about her pack.
Yep. Okay. I will kind of slowly and respectfully start disassembling the corpse, disassembling the remains and putting them in a pack.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna surface and like I probably need a breath at this point. Like I surface and I tell them what's happening, and then I go back down to help, basically.
Yeah, I think it's been a few rounds in terms of action rounds at the most. So you're still feeling.
For people on the surface, there are no bubbles coming up.
Yeah.
But there never will to begin with.
Well, if I'm still able to hold my breath, then I'll just help him do it a little bit faster, and still being respectful, of course.
Yeah.
And then when I'm done, I'll tie the pack onto the end of the rope and give it 3 sharp tugs.
Yeah. So you collect up what's left of her physical remains, and you, in amongst the kind of the rocks and pebbles, of detritus on the bottom of the river, gets kind of sunk into where her ribcage is, into the riverbed. You see a small brooch or medallion, which is in the shape of a conifer leaf.
Mm-hmm.
We just put it in the bag with her bones, right? Like I look at her and I point to the medallion and I point to the bag.
Yeah, she nods.
Okay. Put it in the bag. Make a mental note not to tell Dovith about this.
So are you taking up the slack, Dovith, on the rope?
Yeah, I was kind of going to go into a rendition of a kind of heave away, haul away, and then realise the gravitas of the situation. So yeah, I will, as the slack, or they give me a couple of tugs to let me know when to pull up. I'll kind of.
Yeah, so you can see, obviously, at one point the rope was trailing right back to the main boat, Vivian, but now you can see actually the rope is pretty much just pointing directly above you.
Cool. Well, if we have all our remains, then I'll just I just hold on to the rope lazily and have myself lifted up.
Tug a couple of times, yeah. Yeah. You're gracefully raised from below the depths.
I was obviously not aware of my fragile kind of
Constitution, yeah.
Small boat pulling up a person. I can only see this ending well.
Yeah. Give me a dexterity check, actually, Dovith.
Okay. Just
Whilst that's happening, I get the feeling that the next riverbed, basically whichever side of the river is the shortest distance, I'll walk in that direction and walk up.
Yeah.
Rolling rubbish to the 11.
Okay, yeah. The boat starts to rock rather violently as you're calling it in and happen to pull Vivian in.
I think that's a kind of cautionary tale to everybody. Don't drink while you're on the job.
Water starts to slosh into the skiff. You're feeling rather nervous, Pacandra. Your feet get wet.
Well, you could give me a hand, couldn't you?
I am trying to keep this rose in. Stop wetting me, please.
Okay. I won't get on the boat. I'll just like swim around it like a snake. Like
Just let me help you, but just don't. You're wet.
it's okay. I'll just stay in the water until we get back.
But you're gonna get cold.
I'm cold technically.
Colder?
It's okay. Don't worry. We don't want to get you wet.
No,
I already
don't.
like skinned your ears, so it's like the whole thing now. And
See, I'd almost forgotten about that.
Me too.
I'll just hang on to the back of the boat and I'll help push it back to the ship.
Okay, so do we have the bag in the boat already?
I think so.
It's what the boat was tied onto, so I hope so.
Yeah, I hope so. Yeah.
I thought you were carrying the bag back to the shore, Nevin. Or you just
I tied it onto the rope and gave it 3 sharp tugs, which is why it got taken up.
Yeah.
Because
the bag and Vivian arrived.
Because I don't know what's on the shore, and that's risk for the boat.
Yeah, you head back to the side that's closest to the boat, which is easier for you. You manage to get the boat and bag up shortly before you feel like you're going to go head first into the river, Dovith. Although, I mean, I guess Kendra might be a little bit upset that the fur is now rather wet when they were trying to stay in the skiff to stay dry.
Well, at least I haven't been immersed in water.
Oddly enough, the spirit has stayed with yourself, Nevin, so she's tracked with you back to the shore underwater.
Nevin enjoys the silence of being underwater and pressure and just... the spirit is following me, and we are both doing it just quietly at a semi-respectable distance.
Yeah. She kind of drifts up next to you and actually takes your hand at one point.
Oh well, all good things can't last.
Yeah. And you feel this numbing cold again. And with that numbing cold, you kind of have a flashback, although not to your life. You view yourself, you imagine in her shoes, and you can recall your name as Kiara Moonglow. You are on this very river itself, under a moonless sky, and you have a feeling that you're trying to travel as stealthily as possible. At one point, you moor up close to this spot, and then you're attacked in the kind of small hours by dark, shadowy creatures that tear through the couple of companions you have on board your own small vessel with you, and kind of all you remember before being dragged below the surface of the water is a glance back to the shore, and you can see a shadowy figure dressed all in black. One detail you notice from him is, and it's clearly him because you can see his silvery hair and features. He seems to be directing these shadowy figures that are attacking, making hand gestures and perhaps casting some sort of spell. But one of his arms, his left arm, is made of the same shadowy essence as the creatures that are attacking the boat. And that's kind of your last vision as you're dragged below, and the vision goes black. And then you find yourself on the shore, kind of dripping from the water of the river.
Cool. I like to think when Devon's vision kind of ends, because the whole like being in the shoes and living it, there's a sympathetic response, and he breathes and he basically drowns underground, but he doesn't need to breathe, so he just breathes in water. So then when he gets to the surface, they're just like, well, that's got to come back out. So there's just a solid 20 seconds of deep breaths and water just jetting out.
Yeah.
Is the ghost still there?
She's still stood beside you, yeah. She seems rather interested in your reaction, but she hasn't said anything at the moment.
Was it just you, or were they all moon glowers? What lives in that river? Oh!
I had forgotten my name, but your uncovering of the brooch reminded me of the occasion of my death. The brooch means something. It needs to be returned to whoever or whatever gave it to me. And you need to tell them of whoever committed the crime.
And I take it a shadowy hand and silver hair are all that you remember?
Indeed. Those are my last memories and pretty much all I remember of my time with the living. Although,
Well, I'm sure I will endeavour to do as you request.
although I have a
Sorry.
sense of being on a great quest.
I'm sure. Do you wish your bones to be laid to rest in the ground or given back to the air?
Yes, you can lay me to rest in the ground, if you would so please.
Certainly.
And when I say the brooch or the medallion must be returned, in the meantime, it does offer some protection, some assistance. So I bequeath it to your group's keeping to use as you see fit.
I hope that we are worthy of such trust. Why would a spider live at the bottom of a river?
And the skiff kind of crunches up the sandbank of the bank of the river.
Yep. I'll bow to the ghost and step onto the skiff.
Yep.
Having emptied the contents of my lungs as if nothing has happened. Just... Right. No, actually, we're on the river. We're on the riverbed, haven't we? And she said to put her bones to rest in the ground. I will ask David for the bag.
I will hand the bag over respectfully, without dropping
My thanks. If you return to the boat in the side of the auxiliaries pack, or my pack, there is a small shovel. That will make this go a lot quicker.
No, we'll get that for you. Okay.
Yeah, it takes a little time to ferry back and forwards, and she's
Um,
she's saying we need to make haste for if the sun burns off the mist, then I'll be absent again until the mist returns.
No pressure, team boat.
okay.
And I hate, and just internally, if I hear that say that, it's like, yeah, if only someone else in the team had a pack with them in the boat.
We'll be back presently.
Yeah, it doesn't take long to get to the boat and back with the with the necessaries.
My fine chimera friend, could you make that so? Engage.
Why have I got the feeling that you suddenly start going in circles?
Yeah. You need to make a navigation roll.
Yeah, it takes you, a good 10 minutes, I guess, 5 to 10 minutes to get back to the boat, pick up the shovel.
I mean, we can shout ahead to the kind of people on the boat past the shovel. That might kind of speed things up rather than have to climb.
Dradoki's up on deck. He's kind of like, wow, what's going on? The crew are speaking of ghosts and some sort of little quest she's given you. I'm like, are they all having some sort of fever dream from the drink last night?
Well, that's what I thought to start with, sir. But apparently not. But my companions, being the kind of can I have the shovel, please?
You handed the shovel.
My verbosity has left me. I think you might have to do the talking from here on in, Picantra. I seem to have entered a haze.
Don't worry, you'll be fine.
Maybe I should stop drinking at this point. What do you think?
I wouldn't recommend not drinking. Maybe doing it on alternate days starting tomorrow.
Tomorrow. You're a very wise person. Has anyone ever told you that?
I try. Thank you. You know what I said about Never when I sang the song?
Mm-hmm.
I also had you in my thoughts. Yes, so you know.
And very friend. Little pig, why are they eating you?
Anyway, are we going to put these bones under the earth to help her rest? Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that what we do? Maybe we should say some words. Is she around? Are you, lady? Are you here?
She's there on the shore with you.
Would you like to say a few words about you when we'll put your bones, under the earth?
I'm going to pray to Madriel to hopefully bring me home under her wings.
I hope so too. I would sing, but I sang last night, and I think that once was plenty. But I have to say, I think you are the first ghost I ever meet. You've kind of been fascinating.
Her name is Kiara.
Keanu.
You've been kind of fascinating, Kiara, and I wish you never went and you came with us adventuring, because I know that you would make for an absolutely fantastic partner for my friend Nevin, who's very lonely. I think.
Head appears from the 6-foot grave.
My hand goes down and I just pat his head slowly. Remove hands.
Shovel. Just.
I grab the shovel and I jump down in the hole.
I feel your group will achieve a great many things, and I don't believe you need me burdening you in achieving those.
You wouldn't be a burden. You would be another friend. I lost a friend yesterday. I'm very sad about that.
But I have a hunger, Pacandra.
A hunger of what?
A hunger for living essence. For the life of the living.
Okay, that's fine.
As much as I try to fight that hunger, I would be afraid that I would cause harm to yourselves or those around you at some point.
Well, if we surround ourselves with bad people, then it would be okay.
Kendra,
Yes?
I really think that we should let her pass on. Like, this is like what all spirits want. Like, she's like living her truth right now.
Oh, well, okay, fine. You know more about these things than I do. I don't know. I'm just trying to treat them as, equal, like everybody else. I think that Nevin is teaching me that dead and undead should be treated equally. So that's what I'm trying to do.
Don't worry, we're just gonna go and like kick the butt of whoever hurt her. I turn to Nevin, right? That's what we're doing, right?
Yes, we've been given a quest relating to laying into rest, and also if there's similar shadows to what's currently plaguing the area, we're likely to encounter them again.
Okay, I like that. I like that idea. Okay, I'm sorry, Kiara. I hope you have a very nice passing into the afterlife, and the afterlife treats you very well. And hopefully, we'll see you there someday. Not soon.
There's definitely a moment where Pacandra's like continuing to talk, where Nevin has stopped digging and is just looking at Riven.
I'm digging. What? Just let her do her thing. Nevin, maybe you also need to follow your truth.
You've dug enough to certainly get the remains in, and as you've dug, you kind of see the fog flowing into the hole.
Yeah. I like to think we've dug a regulation 6-foot grave, but Nevin just angrily, as the more Pacandra keeps talking, just extends it. Just like it gets deeper, the edges get sharper.
At one point, I just stopped, and I grabbed the shovel, and I'd be like, "That's not in standard planning."
You can't fit 10 of them next to each other if he keeps on going.
It technically didn't need to be 6 foot, but I can imagine that Nevin would take it to the regulation anyway.
Yeah.
I just take the shovel from him. I'm like, you should go up and say something about her. You've known her the best.
I will respectfully lower the bones down to Vivian, who is currently in the grave, and then pull Vivian out.
We take the brooch out, right? Like you take the brooch out, Nevin.
Yeah, when I hand the bag to you, I've probably gone through it and picked out the brooch. No, just kidding. We're going to bury it, then we're going to dig it up next night. That way it's grave robbery and it's double trouble. And facing the way of the sunset, Nevin will begin a prayer to Madrial.
Yeah.
Here we return the bones of our departed sister, Kiara Moodglow, cruelly taken from us in pursuit of greater works. We humbly ask that the Mother of Mercy, the Redeemer, the Angel of Mercy, the First, Mother of Forgiveness, that when Kiara faces her final judgment at the gates of eternity, that she be let in.
Is anybody else kind of praying internally?
No, I'm just trying to stay standing up.
Yeah, that's okay.
I pray.
Are you stifling like a smirk of like another Moonglow bites the dust?
So you see,
Bringing his head. is him staggering, fall, and actually falling in. So hard to stay still that does not occur. It's taking. It's the beads of sweat are pouring on his head just to kind of stay still.
As you say the last solemn words, there's a kind of the tracks of blackened tears under Kiara's eyes slowly fade into the silvery grey sheen of the rest of her form, and she just seems to slowly sink into the mist and fog. And as you watch, as you kind of stood around expectantly, you get the feeling that the mist and fog itself is starting to recede. And you can feel the sun's warmth penetrating the chill that had been pervading the area since the fog had been around.
At this point I collapse just to break the silence.
I'll fill in the grave.
Yeah. Yeah, you managed to reach down into the fog enough to shovel it. And you feel kind of at peace, really. As the sun burns away the last of the mist in the area, you've all made your way back to the larger, the clear water, I'd imagine, on the skiff.
If they're still there, if they haven't taken the opportunity to, they've gone that way with the gribbly. What do we do? All sails forward!
And as you kind of you look back to your handiwork and you're feeling at peace, and you've spoken to Doki about the events of the morning, you can see there's a small bunch of goldenrod which has grown up on the grave rather quickly. So as the mist recedes back even further and it dips below the bank and starts to burn off on the river, just as it pulls back off of the grave, you can see this goldenrod has grown up. And there's a span of leaves on either side of the batch of goldenrod which you could almost interpret as angelic wings.
I quickly
lingers just for a little bit longer. Today was a good day.
Yeah. Sorry, Liz, you can say something?
Oh no, I just say I quickly make like a little sketch and like note about it, because I know when Dovith is finally sober, he'll probably find it interesting and poetic.
Thank you.
Yeah, you truly feel like you've, amongst yourself as a group, you feel like you've really achieved something peaceful and good this morning.
Headache.
Despite never being soaked to the skin.
Yeah.
And you have, of course, a conifer leaf-shaped medallion.
I will inform the others that Madame Moonglow was on a mission of great import, and this brooch needs to be returned to the person that gave it to her as part of that mission, to warn them of their murderer. And it is entrusted to us until we achieve that goal.
Dove, if you can give me an intelligence check, if you like, on spotting the brooch medallion.
However, this should be a disadvantage, but I will.
You can use history if you have it.
Oh, first decent roll of the evening. That's a 19. Thank you very much.
So you recognise the conifer leaf as the symbol of the Bajuran Vigil.
Oh.
Who are the Vigilants are a kind of a force for good in the world. They live in a country called Vesh. Let me pull the map up to show our viewers.
What's that switching over? The virtual tabletop is provided by the amazing software that is Foundry.
Oh, lost connection with the server. Are we still on? Are we still streaming?
It's probably the server's gone to sleep.
Ah, okay. So, yeah, it's gone to sleep.
Oh, it's just gone to sleep, so it's still shutting down.
Okay, yeah, so anyway, as we're waiting for that, Vesh is... the Vigilants are a force of good in the world. They are the kind of... they're not like a standing army, but they're almost like different chapters of... they're rangers, warriors, protectors of all sorts of kind of ideals. They predominantly live in Vesh, where they're broken down into different vigilants, they're called. But this particular, the conifer leaf, are the Bajuran Vigil, and they mainly reside in a city called Mithril, which is way up on the east, kind of northeast coast of Gelspad, and it's populated by and run by paladins and clerics of Corium. So Mithril kind of sprang up around. They created this huge Mithril golem to fight the Titans. Corian created this Mithril golem to be able to fight the Titans. It's huge, titanic. And it was used in the battle against Kadum, who was basically, imagine like Godzilla on an epic scale. So to beat Kadum, the Mithril golem held its tail while the rest of the gods attacked him, and they ended up carving his heart out because that gave him strength. Threw and chained him to a big rock and threw him out to sea. And where he landed in the sea, that water became known as the Blood Sea. It kind of pollutes the water out there and creates all sorts of horrible creatures out there that plague the land. But the Mithril golem was so badly damaged in the battle that it just kind of wandered off and deactivated. So where it stopped on the coast, they built this whole kind of holy city to Corian around it, and the Bajuran Vigil eventually kind of migrated there to help support Mithril grow. So that's what you remember about the kind of tale of Mithril and the Bajuran Vigil that now reside in Mithril itself.
So as I've told you all this, I think the question in your mind is, how much is it worth? But no, I think, and I think the group would probably agree with me, that this task was given to you, Nevin, so I think you should be the holder.
Very well.
You had pretty epic rolls, weren't you? You also recall that these tokens are magical in nature as well. The medallions, they are given upon acceptance into the order.
There we go. So yeah, I think. I mean, did she make mention of the person we have to deliver it to, or where they're located, or anything like that?
Her memories of life had faded, as often happens with those that are unable to pass on. It was tied to her task, and her task seemed to have also brought her into conflict with an individual with a hand made of shadow, whose formless minions felled her and her companions. I assume, given that it's in the area, if we find a chapter house of the Vigilance, they will perhaps know, but I'm more concerned with the immediate threat of these shadowy figures, given our own experiences in our short amount of time on this waterway.
Well, I mean, are you saying also within earshot? Are you talking as a group, kind of out of the way, or are you saying quite openly on deck?
My assumption was we were just standing on deck because I was appraising the item.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My impression of the ship is that there's one private area which is the captain's cabin, and we haven't been invited yet.
Yeah, I mean, you can kind of kick people out of the hold if you want to, but then you'd need to speak rather quietly. But
No, it's the middle of the day. I'm probably still drying off in the sun.
So Joki rather grumpily is kind of like, well, you promised to get me home first anyway, so there's that to that.
That's true. Like, we're still going to take him home first, right?
Yes, that was never in discussion. I distinctly remember saying...
Because, so, Dovith, if I understand you correctly, like, the best place to find more information would be this felled, like, suit of armor, this golem?
But no, it's not so much the goblet. I mean, the brooch comes from an order of paladins, much like yourselves. The golem itself is now kind of satin state. As the city's this order of kind of militarized kind of law keepers have this as one of their badges. And I can only imagine if it's tied to some sort of murder, then it may be a badge from a person that we need to give to someone else for them to kind of figure out who the aggressor is.
But there is a city around the golem now, right? With all these people in it.
Yeah. So... It's quite a large city. It's kind of by the Blood Sea. It's quite a thriving hub, as you can imagine. It's kind of built up in tiers. It's like a kind of big walled city, quite a big place, but it's kind of way out of the way from which way, kind of in the opposite direction of where we're going almost. That's kind of how I kind of remember it anyway.
So yeah, it's a little bit confused, and probably in the way I explained it. But the vigilance of Vesh are, I'm trying to get the map up again. From a different place, but they have vigils in different areas. So they're not paladins; they're kind of like rangers, warriors, clerics, people that have a set of ideals that they try and uphold in the face of evil and tyranny and that kind of thing. So the paladins and clerics run Mithril. It's their city. And the vigilants are there supporting them. They've come out of Vesh and sent a whole kind of troop up to Mithril to help support the paladins and clerics. So like a separate body, basically. But they're there to support the paladins. I think I've got the... I need to get rid of that, obviously. So hopefully you can see the map now. Can you see the map there?
Yep.
Yep. So Vesh, Vesh is just kind of under my cursor here now, which is where the kind of people and the order itself are based. And then you can see right up on the tip up here at the top of the Quadrata corridor, kind of at the end of the Plains of Lead, is the city of Mithril. And then you can see off to the east there is the Blood Sea, which is the result of Kadam being chained to a rock with his heart's blood pumping out into the sea continually, because he can't die, so his kind of essence is always pouring out into the sea and creating mutations and horrible creatures out there.
Okay, so all of that is just very far away from us.
Yeah.
I wonder what they were doing out here. Like, Nevin, she didn't remember what she was doing here?
I imagine she
didn't
on her way to see someone with the badge. I imagine she's get the badge to give to someone else as an indication of some sort of crime taking place.
She was attempting to move undetected, which implies that she was either following someone or trying to get an entry to somewhere that the vigilance cannot normally tread.
It just seems like they're so much to search for to try to return this brooch. Like to search through.
The fates have a way of, when one walks in a certain direction, other doors align upon your path.
That's rather trusting for someone always with a plan.
There's like the silence of, I don't see any contradiction here.
You know what? I'm just gonna leave Nevin. He just wants to be quiet. At one point, with these people, you just have to stop trying.
I just turned to do. I don't recall saying we shouldn't have a plan.
You're asking me.
Well, I didn't, did I?
Well, you just did.
The sun's out, right?
Yes, it's burnt away the mist. It's a nice, nice morning now.
I'm finding some
Warm
place
September.
I need to lay in.
Yeah,
I'm doing something dark.
possibly kind of like draping yourself on the mast.
Oh yeah, just
Or
like you see like those iguanas that are just like, like that.
I can totally see you doing that. But yeah, it's actually becoming a rather nice morning now. That the captain and crew have obviously taken on the solemn affair that you've just performed. There's a lot of respect amongst them, even more so than they had before now. Drodoki is, you're not sure if he's hungover or just grumpy in general, but he's quite surly this morning. And eventually you kind of get the boat underway again. It just turns into a nice, gentle, sun-filled, warm, lazy day for yourselves, really, as the crew toil away, making some headway on the river, on the Clarity Creek. Is anything doing anything in particular?
There's at least one instance of Vivian getting a rude awakening and a surprise inspection.
Why? Why is this happening?
Anything can happen on the river, as we've learned. You must always be prepared. Full pack inspection, 5 minutes auxiliary.
Fine. I do it begrudgingly. You know what? Viv is starting to work up a working theory about why he's like this.
Every battle prepared for is a battle half fought.
Kind of as you're talking in that way again, Nevin, you have another momentary flashback, really. Remember, I'd spoken before about the fact that you were on a deck, not necessarily part of the crew, but almost part of an assault party, really, maybe getting ready to prepare. You kind of, in this flashback, you remember the kind of nervousness before battle, kind of the final checks of your weaponry. You hear a loud thump. You can hear sounds of battle all around you and the crashing of the waves, but there's a particularly loud thump that makes the whole crack and creak. And then somebody behind you is kind of screaming, "Go, go, go, go!" And you remember thundering from below decks with your troop around you. You are leaping onto a stone dock with what appears to be kind of blood foaming over the dock and swishing away, but then you realise it's actually the waves. And you're looking up at a city, looking up towards which appears to be overrun. You can see kind of rat-like creatures climbing out of all this detritus that's gathered around the city. There are eerie squid-like heads with tentacles waving up, and some magic that seems to be emanating different variety from them. And one thing that stands out as you look up the cliff, because this city is built in, up, and along a cliff. Kind of right at the pinnacle, you can see a huge, what looks to be a mithril statue. and that's kind of where the memory fades.
I probably come back into it, and I've got a sharp feeling in my thumb, and I look down, and without realizing it, I've slipped my sword out of its scabbard just enough, and I've basically pushed my thumb against the blade.
Yeah.
And I just sword slashes back in as I take my thumb. I just use my pull to heal it back up. And I am 11, I am of the Gold Spire, I am Tacitus, I am of the 9th, 10th, 4th, 13th cohort. That is who I have chosen to be, and then I continue on as if nothing has happened.
Yeah.
Or I attempt to.
So it's probably
At this point, you just get like a. Oh, sorry.
No,
I think it's this point that Vivian just goes like, "Oh, but why?"
But, well, I was going to say to Vivian, actually, I think we had the same sort of thought. But yeah, it's at this point you realise this is probably the first time you've seen Nevin shaken, or trying to centre himself in such a manner.
All right, I I know that approaching this in a normal human being manner is not going to work with him. So I just like take my pack, like my completed pack, I throw it down in front of him, and I say, when you're done going through whatever you're going through, maybe you could check my pack so I could get back to sleep.
I'm trying to restrain my rage, and I don't even need to look at it. Look at that shovel. What have you been digging up with it? Don't answer that.
Your dead girlfriend.
Really? Did you take her with you? Because you brought half the grave with you. That's before you don't have to take those sandals off. I can see them from here. That's 3 different types of dirt. What is dirt? Dirt is disease that you're bringing with you.
What do you care about disease? You're already dead.
Looks around to the crew. Do you hear that, everyone? Don't worry. Vivian doesn't need to worry about disease because I'm fine.
Well, if you think my pack's so dirty, why don't you just clean it yourself? And at that point, I just turn and I go back to the mass.
There is a hard yank on the tail. Like the practiced hand of, no, you think you're fast enough, but I distinctly remember you were climbing on a box and saying, no, I don't want to be an honorary rank, I want to be a real member of the Legion. And we said, no, because that's too big a decision to make. And you said that you were grown up enough and that you wanted the responsibilities that came with a real rank.
That doesn't sound like me. I'm much more fluent in words than that. So I'm just going to take this pack and clean it because obviously I'm a responsible member of the Legion, not because you told me to. And
it's
I
miraculous how often those two things align into the same result.
And I guess you'll just have to inspect it again until it's fine. So now who is being punished with this? Because good job.
I'm already dead. Apparently I'm already dead. I've got nothing better to do, auxiliary. I've got nowhere else to be.
I just pick up my pack and I turn around and then there's like a slight smile on my face as I walk away.
Job done.
Just in Nevin's head. But you're already dead. What is it?
Nevin's grounded again.
Really, it's not difficult. I mean, really, it's not as if she uses anything in the pack. Really, you just leave it tidy once.
David and Kendra, you do anything in particular, or kind of get involved in the?
I'm just looking. I'm thinking. I hope I never ever get a spouse. Because if that is what being married is all about, I don't want that. Oh my God! And I hope I never have any offspring. I don't want to. You know. I don't want to have children of my own now anymore. No, ever. No, because that's how they're going to talk to me at some point. I can imagine myself thinking, tidy up your room and have this emo Black Panther manticore kind of thing that comes out of whatever I get married with, complaining and moaning about not having to do and me having to do everything for them. I don't think I want this for me. No, 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 never.
Kendra, I need you to keep my bug collection for me again.
Yes, ma'am, I did. Yeah, of course, Biff. Whatever you need, absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Yes, big, massive. I am always going to say yes to you because I think that Nevin doesn't say yes to you often enough.
Oh, cool. Can you keep this seaweed then that I found at the bottom of the river as well?
There's a creepy crawl. You just crawl out of it very slowly, like some kind of sea-based worm.
I just pick that out really quickly and pop it in my mouth.
I say I can do it, but later.
Okay,
So-
we'll just keep the bugs for now.
Okay, yes, I'll help you with that, but later, not immediately, because I can only help you with one thing at a time, and I'm helping you with your bag.
No. You need to keep my bug collection from my bag because my bag has to be inspected.
Oh, but is your bug collection anywhere, or are they just crawling around?
They're in this wooden box.
Okay, no, I can do that. That's fine. Don't worry about it.
They're dead.
You are not helping. But fine, I'll help you anyway. Look, I'll just help you. Just put those into my backpack. Look, just put them into my backpack. And I put my backpack, and I close it, and I put it very gently so they don't, get disturbed, put little things or anything. Very gently there. And now what happens when you get inspected?
Now there won't be bugs in my bag, so I will probably get a higher mark.
Oh, I'm glad. I'm very glad. And does that mean that Nevin is also going to be happy with you?
Happy is a relative term.
Well, yeah.
I feel like there's a level of acceptance that he might have at one point.
Okay. So basically, I am helping you be happier, and I am helping Nevin to be accepting.
Yes.
I like that. I feel good about that.
Okay. I'll see if Dovith wants to hold my seaweed for me.
Hang on there a second, because between the shouting and you two going, I wonder whether it's theoretically possible to cast sleep on myself.
I made you this drawing of Angel Wing Plan.
Inquiring minds need to know.
You willingly fail the save? Is it a concentration effect?
You could just pretend to do it. And pretend that you're asleep. You don't need to do it.
So even if they do come over and try and talk to me or poke me or try and get my attention, I'm going to fake sleep.
In that case, I just slide like a cup of seaweed next to him. And that little drawing that I made, I put under his hand and just write, "Thank you."
That is very sweet. And that should be a spell. Pretend sleep.
Pretend.
I mean, there's the spicy version, which is feign death.
Well,
For when you absolutely have to avoid social situations for 24 hours.
so faint sleep is the cantrip.
Only overworked scholars get it.
You're muted, Terry, so I think you're trying to say something there.
In my tome of the Antisocial Wizard, which is under the title of How to Avoid Parties and Confuse People. Actually, although I'm pretending to be asleep, I do take a look at kind of what has passed to me and kind of feel slightly bad now and guilty that I was trying to avoid everybody.
It's a, I guess a tense but heartwarming day to varying degrees. It's like I say, it was a warm, lazy day for yourselves. It drifts into the evening. Joki is quite happy to sit around and tell a tale again. This time he tells a tale of one of his old travelling stories. and perhaps because of this morning's events or the harsh words between Viven and Nevin about love lost, he tells a tale of his own history, where he actually describes that he'd had a relationship with a Drindali elf spellstress named Silmara. And from his telling, it's a rather tumultuous affair. They travelled together for a good while, collecting tales, and Silmara trying to broaden her understanding of magic. But they were cornered by some Gorgon Titan spawn, Medusa Titan spawn, and she sacrificed herself for her love, which is why he's still here to this day. So every year on their anniversary, he travels to her petrified statue and gives her a kiss and leaves her a flower.
No, that's so sad.
He's like, I'm too old. Partly why I'm so sullen, I believe, nowadays. I'm just too old to make the journey anymore. I'm travelling home to my village and it's in the wrong direction. So my last trip was my last trip.
What? You're not gonna go see her anymore?
These bones are too old. My joints are too weary.
What? I'll go see her. Where's her statue?
She's actually not too far from Buruk Torn. We were travelling the wilds of Vesh between towns heading towards Buruk Torn, and in the foothills there we were cornered by some horrible Medusa Titan spawn.
Oh my gosh.
May I ask you, how big is that statue?
Wow, a similar size to Dovith over there.
Well,
You can give me
in
a history
that...
check if you like, Dovith. Sorry, go on, Kendra.
Well, why don't we bring the statue to your town so you don't have to go and see the statue? And you can always be with her. And bring her flowers as long as you want, as long as you like. So that way you can always be together.
There is one more option that I can offer you. So, as I feel that I've judged you heartily, because it seems very much that we are of similar dispositions and in similar situations. I would be more than happy to offer you the service of doing a rendering or a drawing of your
Silmara, the lovely Silmara.
and then at least you can take that with you and have a visual memory of you're no longer able to. Sorry, it's bringing forward memories for me, and then I'm finding it difficult to kind of be for those.
Yeah, you do actually recall kind of a history. You didn't particularly know the names at the time, but you in the situation you're in yourself, you do recall histories of other Drindali that have been exiled, and you do remember a tale of a Drindali that had left the doors of Dear Drindal to travel, but they were exiled while they were out travelling for.
Well, so it rings true to me because I do know this story.
Yeah, I'm just saying it does kind of.
And similarly, I was jibed in the same way when kind of my exodus from Drindali took place. That were people making similar references and using them as a joke at my expense. So I hadn't put two and two together at this stage and realised that it was your good self that was kind of the counterpart to this story, and I can only offer. The judge and the fun I made of you was only kind of a professional kind of. It wasn't kind of meant in any kind of serious or malicious way. And all I can say is I can only offer you my sincerest apologies and my respect and praise.
Well, I know I've called you friends in the past, but I mean it's taken on a whole new meaning with this offer. if that's something that you feel that you could undertake for me, then I mean.
I mean it, truest and most truly and deeply of everything that's this is something I wish to see fulfilled. This to provide this service for you is kind of it's helped me kind of find out why I'm actually on this journey and why it is that I am here, even if it's just to provide that small service to you.
I speak to Picandra's offer as well, if that still stands. That is, I'm lost. I'm speechless, and that's rarely a thing for a bard of my standing.
Well, I just don't want, if I ever had a story like yours, I would like somebody to do something like this for me. So, yes, I think we should try and bring the statue to you. I think that would be very nice.
Well, when we arrive at my home, hopefully I can sketch a map. And if in the meantime, Dovith, that you would help me, you'd help work with me to create a likeness of Silmara, then you'll certainly recognise. Well, I mean, there won't be any other.
If you don't mind, my suggesting that maybe if I can sit a few evenings with you, we can actually collect a true oral history of this and put it to writing.
Certainly.
Whether that forms a play or a song or something like that down the line is not really my intention, but I think your tale, amongst my own, also needs to be immortalised, and then the lessons need to be learned from, these situations, and kind of having people exodus from their homelands just because of who they choose to love is really no way to continue, and kind of the violence and the upset and the hurt these kind of situations cause just because of the people you choose to kind of spend your life with is just barbaric in this day and age. And I think if we can record these histories and kind of set them to pen, then maybe people who will kind of feel or have been hurt in similar ways to your good self and myself will kind of find solace in that, or kind of find some kind of answers from it. And I think that's kind of as valid a journey as any other.
Well, like I say, I'm speechless. I'd only hope to tell a tale of well, not unrequited love, but loss and love, and the sacrifices that can echo down the ears. Really, it seems there's more to all of your tales as you travel together. I just hope the friendship that's already flowed amongst you solidifies more deeply and gets you through whatever fate may have in store for you all. But just remember that loss can be a support as much as it can be a cause for grief.
I offer my hand for the handshake and going for the hug.
He gives you a big backslapping hug. You hear two other dwarves grumbling in the background.
Oh, let them. At the end of the day, it's our opinions kind of change over time as we spend a day in someone else's shoes. It really doesn't bother me like that. But what is important is we're both healthy, we're both reasonably wealthy in friends and kind of relationships, and maybe tomorrow we'll be a bit wiser.
I'm gonna say there's no drunkenness tonight.
It's the vapors are going. Yeah, I can.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to go, but yeah, I'm not going to touch the.
I mean, Jodoki's certainly not breaking open any kegs or Captain definitely doesn't offer out any more of his own personal trove.
I'm saying that while I've still got braided hair and kind of lemon on my face.
So after the kind of morning awakening, the captain's, we fully expect to arrive at the creek's end mid-morning today, so just be ready to disembark. When we arrive there, I'll come with you to speak to the people that run the trading post, and hopefully we can kind of arrange a safer passage for you through the Ganges, at least not having to worry about the elves mistaking you for Titan Spawn for some reason.
Riven, Nevin just bites down. I'm going to have that talk with Riven. Oh, sweet shining ones. We didn't put it in the book. We didn't think she was old enough to understand. No, we'll have the conversation before she leaves, but no.
And just as the captain says, kind of mid... Sorry, Liz, you want to say something? Just as the captain said, it's kind of mid-morning. You approach... The river kind of spends the morning narrowing rather drastically. And the captain's staying rather strictly to the central channel. Around about midday, the central channel veers off towards one of the banks, and this is where we're pulling into. You can see rather than logs that have been cut into some sort of jetty, the roots have actually been grown in a very specific fashion to create a natural decking and jetty. So the clear water gently bumps up against it. And there are some elves already on hand to take the ropes and tie you onto the stanchions. And it's rather than, and again in kind of wood elven style, rather than being cut out with the woods and huts being made from the even fallen branches, they've naturally seem to have shaped boughs and eaves and parts of trees to form coverings. There aren't any internal abodes to speak of, but there are certainly some enclosed areas where elves gather to live in their community. You reckon anywhere between 20 and 30 elves seem to be moving in amongst in the trees and in amongst the communal areas, and they welcome Captain Harmon in. He's look, we'll get the ramp down or get you disembarked, and I'll take you to meet Zalara and Abyssal, who are the couple that run this trading post, which essentially serves as a safer point of entry for people seeking to enter the Ganges.
Thank you.
At least, doesn't it?
Sorry?
I said the dock's got to be worth a sketch at least.
Yeah. So, I mean, gather up your items. Drodoki's seems to have recovered some of his spirit. He's shed a bit of his melancholy, almost to the point that he's skipping down the ramp. The elves that are moving around don't seem to really bat an eyelid. There are two other jetties, but there don't seem to be any other ships tied up at the moment. And he's just heading straight into the encampment, basically, unless not really waiting for you at the moment, unless you ask him to.
No.
And Captain Harmon follows on, leads you all into a communal area. There's a warm fire pit glowing with a kind of like peaty smoke, leaving a rather pungent odour in the air. And there are you noticed right away, Dobith, that they're middle-aged for elves. They're a middle-aged elven couple that Captain Harmon introduces to. So he introduces the female as Zalara and the male as Abyssal. And they seem to be rather nondescriptly dressed, really. Just in normal sort of tunic, working gear, leather van braces, nothing that really places them apart from the rest of the community. But other than that, everybody naturally seems to defer to them. And Captain Harmon introduces you by name. There aren't too many shocked faces or any scowls, or it's just kind of welcome. We call this outpost Tashalar, but for your tongues, I guess Creek's End is easier to pronounce. This, if you're seeking entry to the Ganges, is certainly the place to start. Welcome and make yourself at home.
Thank you.
Could you provide us with more information about the Ganges, since we're going to be traveling through it?
We absolutely can. And that's a very rare question. Most people come to the Ganges assuming they know everything about it and about us wood elves in particular. But we can certainly spend a bit of time, hopefully, informing you of some of the dangers, and introducing you to some of our culture.
Thank you. You can just assume we know nothing.
Well,
I look around to everybody really proud of my negotiation skills.
please. I don't know if you're hungry, but please come and eat with us.
Always.
We'll discuss your journey. We're happy to see Drodoki back, and we'll hopefully impose upon him for a tale or two, which will more than satisfy any need to recompense you for your stay.
Oh, that's fantastic, because I'm eating for two. Like, for my ghost friend, too.
Oh,
There's a very blank neutral look at the mention of that. Okay.
What did I say?
yeah.
We've
Right,
lost
so-
Alex. I think that's a good place to leave anyway. It's now 3 hours into the stream. It's a natural point to stop now that you've reached Tashalar, which is the... welcome back, Alex. So again, just thanks for a really great night, really, really positive journey into more of the Deadlands Rust campaign. Hope you've enjoyed yourself tonight. Really great to get to meet your characters again and get to know more about them as the journey progresses. Just a huge thanks to me for taking part in this.
Thanks to Mark for GMing, thanks to Onyx Path for having us on here, thanks to Foundry for letting us use their BTT. If you want to continue watching other RPG stuff, Band of Badgers currently have a Vaesen, the Free League Publishing game interview going on their channel. I don't know who they've got on, it's just what it says.
Awesome. We'll look forward to seeing you next week, everybody. Thank you very much.
Bye!
Bye.